Welcome to my channel. Can you guys stop making out for real? That's nasty on camera. Hi, welcome to Coffee and Crochet with me and my dogs, Murph and Cheekies. Well, Cheekies isn't mine, but she lives here. Since this is, I guess, the first episode or installment of this, I have been working on this project for like 3 days, and the point of it is I didn't want to buy new yarn since I already had a bunch of yarn from, years of doing crocheting. I just have extra balls of yarn. I need to not put a space between that. But I have extras and I didn't want to just throw them away or put them to waste. So if they're big enough to put into this blanket, to at least do one row, I'm gonna put it into the blanket, and then all of the extras, I'm gonna make them into, I don't really know at this point. I'm just trying to use up all of the stuff that I can. And ultimately, this will be my pandemic blanket, which I will pass down to generations of my offspring, and I will tell them that this is the blanket that got me through the pandemic. Will I be lying to them? Kinda, probably, but every child needs like their I walked 2 miles in the snow story, so this is gonna be mine, and they're gonna have a blanket to go. Hopefully they don't watch this. Yes, I'm suffering so much, staying home, pandemic blanket. And on top of it, because I do enjoy coffee while doing this, I will be enjoying my cup of coffee, so. Yeah, making coffee. So, without further ado, let us get started with this video. So today's topic, because I thought it'd be kind of boring to just watch me drink coffee and crochet, which maybe not to some people, you guys are psychotic. To others, maybe this is like the crafty version of get ready with me. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it. So it's where you sit there and you listen to a person talk about something while you watch them do something. I'm gonna get started with this nice, oh my God, am I even doing that right? I'm gonna get started with this nice coral color. She has so much potential. I don't remember what I made with this. I know I've had it for a long time. That looks kind of crappy. I'm going to preface, or not even preface this, but explain my crocheting style a little bit. I learned how to crochet when I was 8 years old at my brother's soccer game because my grandma taught me at the soccer game. I was really tired of watching him play soccer. So I picked up a crocheting needle the wrong way. I think most people crochet, because this is the internet, I don't know, people might roast a person for holding a crochet needle wrong. But I guess most people kind of hold it delicately, in a more feminine way. And I look like I'm holding on to dear life, right? But I always picked it up like this. I never corrected it, and I'm fine crocheting like this. So I do have a very weird style, odd and different a little bit, but it works for me, and you know what? I like it. Which brings us to the topic of today's Coffee and Crochet, which is feeling different, being different, not like everyone else, which is so, doesn't everybody kind of feel like that? Like, who feels like I'm like everyone else? Then there's also not feeling like everyone else, and then on top of it, you actively do things that are not like everyone. Anyway, let me rephrase it. It's about finding confidence and feeling different. There we go. That sounds way better. Don't touch your face. So itchy. So not feeling normal, which is very normal to not feel normal. That's pretty much all I have on that. It'd be weird for a person to feel completely normal. I think most people are good at pretending that they feel normal. I've never been very good at following trends at all, and I think for a really long time I really wanted to know how to follow trends, so I really admire girls that can, that do it, and they do it really well, and I really admire that, and I wish I could do that. I admire women who can do that and who look good doing it as well, because if I try to do it, I look like a hot mess, I'm not gonna lie. I just have never been super trendy, never wore really trendy clothes. I've been trying more now as an adult because I used to I just never wore the trendy stuff. I did for a little bit. So around 12, 13, right, where you're in middle school and you're starting out in a new environment. It's not elementary school, playground's not the same, things change, and I really felt that. I kind of wanted to fit in a lot. It's harder to be an outcast, so the easier thing to do is to fit in. And I really wanted to, for a long time, to fit in with all the cool kids. At the time, this was, oh my god, 2007. Ugh, that was a long time ago. That's when clothing brands used to do the really obnoxious Abercrombie and Fitch, Hollister kind of giant logos in the front. So if you didn't wear the trends, people, or like if you didn't wear the store brands that were popular at the time, people would know because it wasn't broadcast on your preteen. That's when I became more aware of what brands were, and my mom was more kind of into that kind of scene, I guess, and more naturally. She's more feminine than I am, and kind of likes clothing and stuff more than I do. So when I told her, because I was not interested in anything really that had to do with fashion until that time, and when I told her that I wanted to start dressing like the other kids, you know, when you have a group of like girlfriends, like, okay, you are gonna wear American Eagle, that's gonna be your brand. And it's like, okay, I guess I can tell my mom. And my mom was super excited because she thought like, oh, finally, my child is normal. She wants to follow trends. And so I tried for a couple of years to do that. I was kind of too young and naive, and my brain wasn't developed enough to analyze this kind of stuff, but I didn't really notice much. I was the kind of kid that really took PE really seriously and who liked to run the mile. So I would be wearing this name brand stuff, but then I would get all sweaty in it because I would take the mile so seriously. So was I really cool? And then this is when I started dabbling in auditioning for theater like every other normal kid. And yeah, I kind of found a lot of joy in doing that. So the whole being popular thing kind of left the room. I went from that stage, right, to high school, which I really enjoyed my 4 years in high school, for the most part. But the importance of looking cute kind of went away after my first maybe couple months of being a freshman in high school. I remember feeling like, oh, I want to look cute. I want to look like everyone else. But then I don't know what happened, honestly. I just stopped kind of feeling like that, and I really enjoyed sleep a little bit more. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup at this time either, so I mean, maybe that had something to do with it. And then came 16, which is when I was allowed to wear makeup. And at first, I was super into it, right? Because I'm like, oh yeah, now I can finally wear makeup. I was really over it within like a month. So I only wore makeup for a little bit, and then I got over it because it's like, it wasn't something that I actually enjoyed. And the fashion thing wasn't something that I actually really enjoyed. But I found joy in other things that maybe my family thought was a little odd. I liked spending my weekends, instead of going partying like everybody else, like to house parties or going out, and I don't know, they wanted me to be out more, and I really liked being home crocheting or like, I don't know, doing more crafty things, I guess, more creative things. I liked hanging out with my friends and just making stuff, which was weird to them, you know, it was weird to them, and then made me a little bit more self-conscious about if what I was doing was weird, wrong, or whatever. Like I knew it was different. I also did a lot of improv comedy in high school, which I had a lot of fun doing. Again, like my family didn't so much support it. Maybe they just thought it was weird, I guess. They didn't think it was normal for me to be into that kind of stuff. And they just thought like, oh, she's just kind of a weird kid into drama and into crocheting at home. And I didn't feel self-conscious about it so much. I really didn't care what people thought. I was very confident and comfortable with myself, but I think it came out later in life, that lack of confidence, for sure. Where most people kind of feel the lack of confidence early on in high school, I really felt it in my 20s. I think it's just like late onset teenagehood maybe, because I also got acne in my 20s, but I guess I don't have to talk about that. Yeah, let's see, where am I at? That's actually kind of cute. I'm enjoying these colors. Graduating from high school, I had the normal 18-year-old experience, or the normal 18-year-old feeling of, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. And that uncertainty and like that questioning of who I was for about 4 years made me forget all of the things that I like to do, which is kind of sad. I stopped crocheting. I stopped making art. I mean, I did it for class a couple of times, but it wasn't the same. I wouldn't just do it just to do it. The few times I attempted to try art or anything like that, or any project, I would just never finish it. And that was kind of a chronic thing after a while. So I just stopped trying, I guess. Yeah, this is a super fun video. Hi, welcome. But I think it's normal. I didn't get my sense of independence until I was in college and after I moved out. And I studied in Spain for 6 months. During those 6 months, I realized a lot about myself, that not that I'm boring, but I'm not the crazy person that I thought I was going to become when I got my first chance of being alone, I guess. If that makes sense. I grew up in a Latin household, so, you know, curfews are super strict. Expectations of being a woman, there was, you know, certain types, like, you know, keep cleaning and cooking and whatever. Not more cleaning than cooking. Very Mexican style growing up. So I didn't know if, with my first chance of being alone, was I going to go crazy like all the other people that I saw going to college, that they got their first chance of freedom and then they went crazy. And I didn't do the whole partying thing too much. Like, I found it all really boring. And I don't want to sound like judgmental of people who do that, you know, who actually like enjoy partying. Like, that's great. I think those things are there for people who enjoy them. I just didn't like feeling like I had to do that. And I felt at times, not just abroad, but just here too, that I had to go to the clubs because that's what normal 21-year-olds do. And like that I have to drink because that's what normal 21-year-olds do. But I didn't like being told what to do, and I didn't like feeling like I had to do something. So most of the time I wouldn't drink, I wouldn't go to clubs, and then when I would go, I would be really miserable because I felt like I didn't want to be there. So what is the lesson? The lesson is, if you don't like doing things, don't do them. Like for fun, you know, there's things that I guess you have to do. Anyway, I just started figuring out that I guess college was the time where I felt the most lost and the most insecure about myself, because I felt like everybody else had this plan of what they wanted to do with their career, and I didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted to do, which is why like a semester before I was supposed to graduate, I started another major, because I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that the path that I was gonna go down if I would have graduated wasn't the path that I wanted to go down, which was to become a teacher, and I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to do something artistic and fun, which is why I thought marketing was my way to go. So I just started a freaking other degree, which is cool. I don't regret it. I learned a lot, but like that was the first decision that I made, even though it took me another like 2.5 years to graduate from college. Making that decision to add another major in something that I wanted to enjoy doing was probably my first step of being more authentic to myself, right? I mean, I don't know how old you are if you're watching this, if you're watching the entirety of it. Maybe you're younger and you feel like not sure about yourself, or insecure, or you doubt yourself, or you want to fit in, or maybe you're older, like my age, and you still feel the pressure of like acting and looking like these girls on TikTok. I definitely know that there are people my age who are still insecure about themselves. And I know that there are people who are older than me and still feel insecure about themselves. And I'm not saying I got it figured out. I got a whole road done. I'm not saying that I have it figured out, and I'm not saying that I know more than a person who's older than me or a person who's younger than me. I just know that from my own experience that confidence comes with age and experience. And that's such a thing to say, but it comes in stages, right? Like, I felt pretty confident in myself as a teenager relative to where I was as a middle schooler. And I feel confident in myself right now as a 26-year-old relative to where I was at 21, but I definitely did not feel secure about myself from 21 to like 24, 25. What really changed everything was when I actually took the time to be by myself. I tell my friends this all the time, that I didn't become confident with myself until I took the time to get to know myself. And that took being single for a year and a half. Why is that relevant and important? Because I was not single for more than a month from the age of 15 to 24, which is insane. That's insane. It was right before my 25th birthday, like a month or two before my 25th birthday. I had the last breakup. I had a bet with my friends that I could make it to December single, right? Like not having a boyfriend. One, they didn't believe me, which I don't blame them because I didn't do a good job for 10 years, but I mean, that's where I learned how to be single because I had a bet. And I made it a year and a half. And then I met Juan, and then I felt ready to be in a relationship again because I really took the time to get to know myself, which is it's not the most unique advice, but I think that it means something different to everybody. Mine was trying to learn what it's like to be alone, finding the things that I like to do, and regaining my hobbies and finding new ones. I got back into art. For whatever reason, I thought that painting after the breakup happened, because the breakup was mutual, and after it happened, I felt that I needed to paint, which I didn't feel like that for so long, and it was nice to feel like I could do that. It was very cathartic to paint. It was super nice to put my feelings out in a creative way, and then I kept doing it. The point is, I got back to my hobbies. Now, I think what's relevant with all of this, I thought that I was getting all of my hobbies back, but then quarantine happened. I mean, I already work from home, I work digitally, but I needed something that made me feel like I wasn't working. And before that, it was jiu-jitsu, and I can't do that right now because social distancing. That's like the most anti-social distancing sport that you can do. So I started farming. I've become an urban farmer, kinda. I have my own little garden in the backyard. And I started crocheting again, and I started watercoloring and scrapbooking. Well, it's not scrapbooking, it's kind of like scrapbooking. It's called an art journal. I started drawing again, just like all the things that I used to do in class and get in trouble for, now I do them for fun. I feel like I lost track of what the heck this conversation was supposed to be about. Finding confidence in yourself. Anyway, being true to yourself. If you like to sit there and put makeup on for hours, freaking do it, you know? If you like to play sports, do that. If you like to sit at home and crochet, do that. Like, do whatever makes your little heart happy. Don't feel like you have to conform to what everybody else does. Don't feel like you have to look a certain way or act a certain way, because at the end of the day, you're always going to go back to who you are. Even if it takes you 20 years, 10 years, or however long, you're always going to go back to you because everything else is too uncomfortable, you know? It doesn't feel like, it feels inauthentic, and you always want to be genuine with yourself because then you feel good. Big words. I'm not following the trends. I can't. I don't know how. I don't know how to follow them, and I don't know. Instead, I'm sitting there picking weeds for like hours and finding a lot of happiness in doing that. But I'm okay with it now, where before I wasn't super okay with being myself. This is me. I'm pretty sure that's like a Disney song, isn't it? If you are normal, or like if you're good at being trendy, I admire you so much. Teach me, please. Teach me a little bit more of your ways. The biggest lesson overall has been confidence. Being confident that you're not confident is cool. Kind of owning it, like, hey, you know what? I don't feel 100% confident right now. And don't be afraid of that. You know, you have to embrace it because you have to start somewhere. And you can't look at it like, maybe framing it or putting it into a different perspective. If you don't feel super confident, framing it in a way that it's like, oh, I'm on my journey to becoming confident, because that's what it is. If you're not confident right now, you're on the journey to become confident, and that's fun. That's the journey is always the best part. I'm not saying that I'm 100% confident in everything that I do. I'm not. I'm confident in the weird stuff that I like to do. Like, oh wow, Abby likes to look for worms. I like worms, okay? But there are things that I'm still not confident about, and that's totally fine because I'm still learning. And I bet you that some really old person is probably thinking the same thing. They're probably thinking, wow, I'm on my journey to being confident. It's a journey every day. I wonder how long this is going to take me. At least a few months. This is taking me hours. From like there to here took me 4 hours yesterday. Maybe I don't crochet that fast. Maybe I need to, because I talk so much. Maybe during this quarantine, you want to try crocheting. It's fun, really, it is. It's very relaxing. If you're the type of person who finds yourself texting a lot or like being on Instagram or watching TV, and then you miss the entirety of a show because you're too busy being on Instagram, and it's like, why am I even watching TV? Why don't I just sit here on Instagram? Anyway, if you're easily distracted because you need to do something with your hands, crocheting is a good option. It's something that lets me like enjoy a movie because I can just sit there and crochet. And sometimes, I've done this a lot, where I will crochet an entire ball and then undo it. Just undo it and then start again. There's no point to it. It's psychotic, but I just like to make stuff. I just like to sit there and do things. I used to do this in class, which was either received well by teachers or not well. I had a teacher in high school who thought it was texting, because before, when I was in high school, kids, we had the phones that had the little buttons on it, and so kids would be able to do it without looking, so they just sit there and like text, which I thought, looking back now, is kind of useless. Like, what was the point of that? But you would sit there and put your phone like on your lap and you'd be texting, but still looking at the teacher, which is sneaky. I would be, doing, I'd be crocheting, so I'd just sit there and like, crochet and stuff. And the teacher yelled at me because she was like, "What are you doing?" And then I went like this. I said, "I'm crocheting, I'm just listening, but I have to do something with my hands." And I think everybody thought I was really weird, but I don't care. I made a scarf. And then I did it in college too. So this was a good way. And I did get yelled at in college, more than I did in high school, which I was really surprised about, because sometimes those lectures were just super boring. It's like, you're just going over the PowerPoint presentation. I might as well just sit here and make a scarf. I don't know what the problem is. I'm not upset. Are you upset? I'm not upset. I am almost at the end of this. I think I can do one more round with this little ball. Maybe. It's so cute. Look how little it is now. But I officially did 2 rows. You really can't tell. Doesn't look like much, but that just means that we just have to have another coffee and crochet. So if you enjoy the video, enjoy me rambling about, I don't know, my younger years, or if you have any recommendations, or topics that you want me to talk about, I mean, we could talk about it if you want. Just go ahead and leave it in the comments down below if you have any curiosity about anything in life. Anyway, if you have any questions about me or Murph, Murph can answer questions. Oh my God. He's very good at public speaking, and he's very aware of himself. He takes a long time to answer because he answers with his eyes, right? If you enjoyed this, enjoyed the video, if you liked coffeeing and crocheting, caffeinating yourself and crocheting, then give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. I do videos every week, and I'm trying to do it twice a week, but it's very hard. So I upload every Friday, and I do some other craft every week, some other type of fun thing, and sometimes I throw a party for my dogs and me. Check out that video after this one. And apart from that, I hope that you are having a very safe week. I hope that quarantine is treating you well. And oh, I'm also on Instagram. That was an awkward way. I'm on there, so if you can check me out. It's fine. You don't have to. But it'd be fun, just I do art projects on there and stuff, and my dogs are there, and then that's where all my planting and farming stuff is. So just, if you want to go on there and check me out, go ahead. Okay. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.